Good morning, I'm Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Monday, February 9th, 2009. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the U.S., 4:30 p.m. in London, 12:30 p.m. in Hamilton, Bermuda, and 9:30 a.m. in Mexico City. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. Today's day in history, 1964, on American television, in their first live appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show on the CBS network, the Beatles appeared. How long ago that was. We have a breaking story. This is coming from Beijing. In the midst of the fireworks demonstration on the eve of the Chinese Lunar New Year, fire has apparently consumed a building in Beijing that's formed part of the Central China Television new headquarters. Flames 30 feet high are leaping out of the building just north of the landmark CCTV tower. According to some witnesses, the upper 20% of the building is on fire, debris is falling, and flames are coming out in all directions. The fire department has not immediately commented on the blaze, which occurred as Beijing is bombarded with fireworks on the final day of the Lunar New Year celebration. So, somebody has that claim. And now on to the main news. In Australia, the news just keeps getting worse. Now the death toll from the bushfires are up to 171 people. More than 5,000 homes are destroyed. These are the most devastating bushfires in Australia's history. They've wiped out entire towns. Authorities have reported more than 31 major fires as well as more than 400 smaller fires raging across southeastern Australia, with the deadliest fires in the state of Victoria, where whole towns have been destroyed. Fires, of course, have been burning in Australia since the start of the summer. This is the worst drought for a century. However, conditions finally became deadly when a combination of high temperatures and high winds created firestorm conditions. The Premier of Victoria, a gentleman named John Brumby, said that the human cost of these fires has been horrific. In many parts of our state, so many lives have been lost, so many people left with severe injuries, and so many houses and possessions wrecked, whole communities completely destroyed. Authorities suspect that the fires were caused by lightning strikes, and in some cases arson or accidental human ignition. Victoria Police said that they would be investigating deaths as a potential crime. Anyone found guilty of lighting a wildfire that causes death faces 25 years in prison in Victoria. The Victoria County Fire Service said that 850 square miles of forest and farmland have already been destroyed. And of course, there's an insurance bill for this. The underwriters at Insurance Australia Group and Suncorp Medway are expected to have to break into reinsurance contracts to cover the $500 million plus in payments already looming for these Victorian wildfires. Speculation is mounting that the hefty payouts could push IAG to follow Suncorp and launch its own capital raising, given that its balance sheet has been depleted from exposure to a string of natural disasters over recent years. Like most investors, insurance companies have been hit with substantial losses on the value of their portfolios because of turbulent markets, as we well know. The Australian reinsurance and insurance industry last year was hit with about $1.2 billion in claims and payouts, more than double the previous year, after a series of storms mostly on the outskirts of Sydney and in southeastern Queensland. The heavy insurance losses are expected to spur further rises in housing and car insurance premiums across Australia, with key insurers already pushing through increases of up to 9% in some lines of personal insurance. A third listed insurer, QBE, is thought to have limited exposure to the disaster. One analyst at Deutsche Bank said insured losses could run to at least $500 million. He said that this number could double if substantial commercial and agricultural claims emerged. Last night, a single-engine plane off Puerto Rico was reported missing and apparently has crashed into the Atlantic Ocean. This, according to the U.S. Coast Guard. The plane was a Cessna 206, as shown here. The Coast Guard has located a debris field off the northwestern city of Quebra Diaz. Helicopters and boats have been searching for survivors. The missing pilot and all 5 passengers are American citizens. The plane was chartered by Tropical Aviation Corporation and was traveling from the Dominican Republic to San Juan. And over the weekend, 4 people survived a plane crash in the Amazon River. They were sitting in the rear of a plane that crashed into a muddy part of the river. They managed to open an emergency door and swim to safety, while the aircraft sank, dragging 24 to their deaths. Most of the people were members of a single family that had chartered the plane to travel to a birthday party. The plane was a twin-engine turboprop, was operated by Manaus Aerotaxi. According to the authorities, the aircraft had undergone all of its scheduled maintenance inspections and its documentation was up to date. And also this morning in Rome, a small plane that was due to transport a human liver for transplant, exploded and crashed near Rome on Saturday. This was, not today, Saturday, excuse me, killing the 2 people on board. The Air One executive Cessna 650 went down just west of Rome's Ciampino Airport. After taking off, the pilot and co-pilot were killed. The plane had been heading to Bologna to pick up a medical team and was going to then travel to Sardinia to pick up the human organ. And in Madrid this morning, a car bomb exploded in a business district of the capital following a telephone warning claiming to be from the Basque separatist group ETA. No one was hurt in the blast, which did destroy about 30 surrounding cars and blew out windows at nearby offices. It left a crater in the ground about a meter deep. The Spanish Red Cross received the warning call 90 minutes prior to the blast, allowing the police to cordon off the area. The device exploded at 9 a.m. Monday morning local time. And in France, heavy winds are hitting the shore right now. Here's a picture of the lighthouse at Brittany by Saint-Malo. Paris itself is facing winds of up to 120 kilometers an hour today. Forecasters in France have put the country on storm alert just 2 weeks after the big storm swept through in the southwest, killing 11 people. The French Atlantic coast is expected to be the worst hit, with gales and heavy rain there predicted to reach 140 kilometers an hour. The National Weather Service has put 58 of France's 100 departments on a state of orange alert, which is 1 step below the top red alert status. The U.S. stock market is a little choppy now. It's up about 3 points. President Obama just arrived in Indiana, where he's going to be making a talk attempting to spur support and approval for his stimulus package. This evening at 8 p.m. he's speaking at a nationally televised press conference, and tomorrow morning is going to be going down to Fort Myers, Florida, all with the same goal in mind. We'll go to a word now from our sponsors and come back with the rest of the news.